Yeah, Friday! You have reached episode 59 of the Ranting Weight Watcher. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If the podcast app you're listening on allows you to rate the show, please leave a 4-star or 5-star rating. Any rating is greatly appreciated. Here we are in the month of October. We are in the final quarter of the year. We got a lot to talk about today. So we're not going to waste any time. Let's get into this. Journey updates. Okay, guys, wonderful week this week. I am down 7 pounds this week. I didn't change anything. Not sure why God graced me with such a big loss, but we will keep it going the same. We stay consistent. You know the deal. You know what we do. Since it's the first weigh-in of the month of October, it is also 7 pounds for the month as well. Total pounds lost since January 2019 is 146.2 pounds. And now the pounds remaining to get to my milestone goals, I am 3.8 pounds away from the 150 pound milestone. I am 28.8 pounds away from the 175 pound milestone. And for our big goal to lose 200 pounds and then reevaluate life from there, we are 53.8 pounds away. Wow, man, this was an awesome week. Awesome week. You know what? It is what it is. This might not even be a legitimate weight loss. You know, this could be a weight fluctuation, and then next week I have a gain. So I can't put too much value into huge losses like this because my body weight fluctuates so immensely. I could fluctuate 10 pounds easy, up or down. And it's water weight, you know, because I have the lymphedema in my right leg. But it is what it is. Listen, big gain, big loss, it doesn't matter. We're back to work the next day. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Big gain, big loss. It does not matter what the number is because there's still plenty of work to do. And the next day, we get up just like every other day and we get back to work. And that's what we do. Can you believe it is October already? It's insanity. Insanity. It's like, where did the year 2021 go? It's just craziness. But we're in the fourth quarter. We are in the fourth quarter of 2021. And you know, like in football games, it is always essential that you game plan for your opponent. But sometimes in the fourth quarter, some new adjustments need to be made. So you can, try to change the outcome of the game. Let's say if you're down, let's say if you're up, whatever it is. So we're in the fourth quarter. The holidays are coming. My favorite time of year. This time of year is also the time of year where I learned the most valuable lesson of my entire journey. Thanksgiving 2019, I learned the most valuable lesson I've ever learned in regards to weight loss. And I'm not just talking about since I started in 2019. I'm talking about from day one, the first time my family ever put me on a diet, I learned the most valuable lesson I've ever learned in weight loss. Thanksgiving 2019. And I'm going to tell you that story when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Hey, Donato Russo, it's Jane Moresco from Watsonville, California, and I'm just calling in to say that I have really enjoyed your podcast, your walking videos. I'm kind of addicted. Anyway, I guess that's a good addiction, right? I will be joining the consistency challenge for the month of October. Looking forward to it, and just want to thank you so much for all that you give to us. You're very inspiring, and everything you say is pretty right on, I have to say. So don't get a big head, but anyway, just wanted you to know I really enjoy you. All right, see you in the consistency challenge, and have a great day, and we love you and all that you do for us. Take care. Bye-bye.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to the Ranting Weight Watcher. If you would like to connect on social media, we would love to connect with you. On Facebook and Instagram, search for @The Ranting Weight Watcher. On Twitter, search for @The Ranting WW. On the Weight Watchers Connect app, search for @Ranting Weight Watcher. You can also email the show, say hello, or share your story with us. Send your emails to therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. You can also call the show and leave a voicemail message that could be played on the air. Just call 505-652-7268. Again, that's 505-652-7268. We look forward to hearing from you. If this is your first time here, and you enjoy the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. We are proud to announce that the Ranting Weight Watcher is now rated number 4 in Feedspot.com's top 10 Weight Watchers podcasts. Click the link in the show's description if you wish to see the full list. If the podcast app you are listening with allows you to rate the show, please leave a 4-star or 5-star rating, whatever is in your heart to leave. Any rating is greatly appreciated. And now, without further delay, here is the star of the show, Donato Russo.
And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. So we're talking about the approaching holidays. And I'm about to tell you the story of the most valuable lesson I've ever learned since trying to lose weight. So we were approaching the holidays in 2019. And since I had returned to Weight Watchers January 2019, this would have been my first, well, not really, because I had Easter in between then. So I guess, it wasn't my first holiday per se. I ate what we cooked, I measured, weighed, and moved on. And Halloween wasn't an issue for me either, because I have a detachment for stuff made in a factory. Many of you who've heard my walk videos, many of you who have listened to the podcast before, from the beginning, know that if the food was made in some factory somewhere and wrapped and put in, mass produced and put in a supermarket, it is far less appealing to me than if it was made in grandma's 100-year-old kitchen with that secret ingredient we all like to call love. It's just very, very different for me. So for me, saying no to Halloween candy is pretty easy. Do I have a couple pieces? Maybe one, maybe two, whatever it is. I don't go crazy because, I can have that any time. What's the difference? So what if it's Halloween? I can get a Snickers anytime I want. Why is it so important to eat it at Halloween? I could get Twix anytime I want. Why is it so important to eat it at Halloween? You tell me. Why is it so much more irresistible at Halloween? I mean, you go to the grocery store once, twice a week, something like that, right? You're walking by. Some of you shop every day. Some reason you're going to the grocery store every day, and you're passing by the whole shelf on your way out the door, the grab and go stuff. The here, buy me just because you're standing in line stuff. Okay? So however often you're in the grocery store, that's how often you can buy a Snickers. That's how often you can buy a Twix. Why is it so much more irresistible at Halloween? What, because it's in your house? It's still at the reach of your fingertips. Either way, maybe it stays longer in your house. Okay, fine. I get that part. But still, you're still encountering it on a regular basis every week. Every time you go to the grocery store, every time you go to a pharmacy, every time you go to a convenience store, whatever it is, 7-Eleven, you're confronting these things wherever you go, gas stations. Isn't that just the grocery store? Are you telling me you feel that tempted to grab a Snickers every time you're passing one? So really, what is it then? Just because it's in the house? Just because somebody's got to eat it? It might as well be you. Oh, we don't want to waste the candy. Come on. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. If you want to have a couple of pieces, have a couple of pieces, but track them and move on. Don't sit here and act like you blew the world apart because you had a couple of Snickers. Now, when you get into the point of not tracking it because you feel bad, that is the core of the lesson that I learned. I learned Thanksgiving 2019 how to destroy guilt and shame from ruling my weight loss journey for good. For good. It was the biggest transformation my mind went through since the beginning of my weight loss at that point. The biggest transformation. And how did it happen? It happened because I discovered fit points. Fit points are the points you receive from doing exercise. Now, you get daily points, which you eat every day, and you track, and then it takes away from your daily point value. You get weekly points, so in case there's a day where it's flexible, where if there's a day where something went wrong, you got a couple extra points that cover the week where you can still track and not feel bad about it. And then there's fit points. Fit points never really get used the way the app is set by default. You just create them. That's all. It's just a number that goes up when you go for your walks, whenever you go for whatever it is you're doing that you call exercise. And it wasn't until I owned a Fitbit that I truly recognized the advantage of using fit points. Because of the Fitbit's ability to measure heart rate, to use GPS location to measure your speed, it knows your height, your weight. The mathematics of everything are far more accurate. I mean, 90, 97, 98% accurate probably. All right? Okay, I'll even go lower. Say 90. We're in the 90s of the percentile of accuracy for the Fitbit, I'm sure. As long as you have the one that measures heart rate. There's new ones that, they measure all kinds of things now. the oxygen level in your blood and the temperature of your skin and all kinds of other things. And your sleep and, so on and so forth. The more important thing is that you have your data in there properly and you change it as you lose weight. So if last week you're 100 pounds and you lost 7, you're now 93, and you got to change it in the Fitbit app to make sure the math stays accurate. Because it knows your height, it knows your weight, it knows how fast you're traveling, it knows your heart rate while you're traveling. So there's a mathematical equation that tells Fitbit how many calories you burned. All of that data gets shifted over into the Weight Watchers app, and it translates to Fit Points. In my experience of watching people, most people, they're not using a Fitbit, whatever it is, they're manually tracking their exercise. And they are at a disadvantage from every experience I've had. At a complete disadvantage to manually track, because you're just at the whim of whatever Weight Watchers says is worth that time. And let's face it here. You may think it was a fast walk, but a Fitbit would tell Weight Watchers, nah, it was moderate at best. At best. Just because you're sweating, you think you worked your butt off, the Fitbit say, not your best. Come back again tomorrow, and let's do it the right way. That's what all this data coming from the Fitbit is telling Weight Watchers. One day, you're walking a 22-minute mile. The next day, you're walking an 18-minute mile. The day after that, you're walking a 28-minute mile. What happened on day 3? What are you doing? What were you thinking? This is information that has multiple uses here. It has multiple uses. For one, when you can't figure out why the scale isn't moving, you can look here and you say, well, I just haven't. Look, last month I was doing an 18-minute mile, and for this whole month, I'm walking a 24-minute mile. I slowed down. But you may not think that otherwise, but now the Fitbit app is telling you that, exactly that. There's value in this data. But anyway, I'm off topic. The data gets shot into the Weight Watchers app. And because it's relatively accurate, the Fit Point total received from that workout is far higher than you just manually tracking. 9 times out of 10, it's far higher than anything you would have tracked. So now, once you got all of this set up, the Fitbit account is synced up with Weight Watchers, and you got your Fitbit and you're wearing it and you're going out for your walk, and you tell the Fitbit, okay, I'm going for a walk right now. And it's measuring your speed, your distance, and all that. Those Fit Points, the way the app is set up, they can't be used. They're there. They can't be used unless you go into the settings and flip a switch. And what that switch flips is, instead of seeing weeklies where you see them on the screen, you see the Fit Points. And the Fit Points build up for the week, and then on weigh-in day, they reset to 0, and you start over again. When you have any kind of event, okay? Any kind of event, holiday, birthday, wedding, whatever it is, these Fit Points are extremely valuable. Why, Don? Why can't I just use the weeklies in that occasion? Because there's one thing weeklies feel like that Fit Points don't. When you use weeklies, there is still a measure of guilt, because you went over your daily points. You had to use the weeklies, and it just doesn't feel right. Now, many people don't have that kind of guilt and whatever else. That's what they're there for. That's what I use them for. Okay, fine. Then stop listening to me from here on out and maybe come back toward the end. But I'm telling you, the most valuable part of switching that app to use FitPoints is you start to learn how much work it takes to get rid of the food items you choose. Here you are, it's 6 a.m. You're ready to start the day. You put your clothes on, you got your earphones on, you put your shoes on, you get out the door, and you're standing outside your front door, and you tell the Fitbit app, starting walk right now. And then you get to work. You are working harder than you ever worked before. Let me make a quick explanation here. All of that I told you before, weight, height, all of that stuff, that's all contributing to, and your heart rate, it's all contributing to what FitPoints are created. So now, naturally, someone on the larger side won't have to work as hard as someone on the smaller side because it takes far more effort to move the larger body than it does the smaller body. I'm trying to point this out because the people who are on the smaller side might be surprised at how little FitPoints they create when they try to make this switch. Or maybe they make a plenty of them. I don't know. It all depends on how hard you're working and how hard your body needs to work at the fitness level you're at. Okay? Because the more fit you are, the harder you have to work. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't get that by now, I don't know what it is. Anybody who's made it to goal knows at the very end, it is as tough as it's ever going to get, and it's nowhere near as hard when you first start. Okay? So that's the perfect example. The last 5 pounds is nowhere near the amount of, the first 5 pounds is nowhere near the amount of work that the last 5 pounds is. The first 5 pounds comes off like breathing. You just make a couple of good choices, right off. It's like you shock your body into, oh, wow, he's sending carrots down here. Let's get to work, guys. So really, when you have this kind of day, you have two different mentalities here. Okay? There's people out there that don't care. They're not even going to track. They're walking into the ring against Muhammad Ali, and they're just going to fall the first punch. They're going to throw the fight. But the tools I'm giving you, it may not win you the fight, but you may make it to the end, the final round, and you're still standing. And it's up to the judge whether or not you won. And you step on that scale, and like my friend Heidi, who listened to me last year when I talked about this, my friend Heidi put my words into action, and she dropped weight over the holiday season instead of gaining it. And she said, she thanked me for the idea like crazy. And I'll never forget it because she was the first person, at least she was the first person that ever told me she did it. So it's the difference between throwing the fight and going there and fighting with all you got. And maybe you win, maybe you lose, but you put up a fight. And so here comes Thanksgiving 2019. I was scared. I was nervous. And I remember not wanting to eat anything that could trigger me to go off the rails and out of control. I was so strict and scared of what to do that I ended up creating probably the best tool that I've ever created in the process, at least for the way I use it. Okay? I went out every day that week leading up to Thanksgiving. Every day. And when I walk, because of my size, nowadays I'm making like between 30 and say 35, 37 points per walk. Especially when it's a long one, like a 2-hour walk. Okay? But then, in November 2019, it was more like 43 points, 45 points a walk, because I was much heavier. And I would work my butt off. I approached Thanksgiving with hundreds of fit points. I had well over 200 fit points by the time I got to Thursday morning. Well over 200 fit points. And I looked at what was being made on Thanksgiving. I thought about what I wanted. And before it came to mealtime, everything I wanted and the exact amount I wanted was measured. I mean, it tracked. Sorry. It was all tracked in the app. And then at that point, all I had to do was execute. So mealtime comes. And my wife and I, we made a decision. We decided that we weren't going to just throw the night. We weren't going to throw a night just because somebody called it Thanksgiving and called it a holiday. People laughed at us. We had measuring spoons and cups at the table and the scale to weigh the turkey. We had measuring cups and spoons at the table on Thanksgiving, and we have pictures to prove it. It was all there, and we were laughed at by the rest of the family. But you know what? Everything was executed according to my plan that day. And I noticed the next day, when most people are feeling all the guilt in the world for having blown it, I felt so strong and so confident in what I did and what I ate that day and how I handled the situation. Because I went out and I put in the work and I tracked every ounce that went into my mouth. And I'm not even just talking about the meal. I'm talking about the piece of coconut custard pie I had after, the apple pie I had after, and the pumpkin pie. All 3 pies. I had a slice of each one. It was my biggest meal of the year. I came out of that holiday down, I want to say it was 1.2 or 1.4, something like that. But it was, and I weigh in 2 days after Thanksgiving. But I had a good time. I made a plan. I executed the plan. The perfect execution of that plan broke the chains that guilt and shame had held over my life for 40 years at that point. 40 years. And it was an amazing feeling. And that's why this time of year is so special to me. And I get so passionate about sharing this information, because if you could just realize that you don't have to throw the fight because it's a holiday, that you could come out of it learning something, learning the value of the work you put in versus the value of the food. If it takes you a 1 hour walk to make 10 points, suddenly the value of a 10-point item may or may not look so appealing. That's the biggest lesson learned. The biggest. Never mind the holiday food. Let's take the holiday out of the equation for 5 minutes. But the thing that you need to grasp is 1 hour of work got me 10 points. And this food I'm choosing is like the size of my palm, and it's 10 points. All of the sudden, it just doesn't seem worth it. That is the valuable lesson I learned. That's the second most valuable lesson I learned. But destroying guilt and shame was the biggest milestone I ever passed in my mentality of this weight loss journey. Now, let's talk about how you can handle the upcoming holidays. So we're going to take a break. Stick with me. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. I wrote an affirmation. It's called the Ranter's Creed. I dedicate that affirmation to all of you who are watching. Nothing can stand in your way because you are an unstoppable force. Your challenges crumble in your presence because you are so strong. Your insecurities no longer have power over your life because you are so confident. Your mistakes are your choices, and you are okay with this because you are so intelligent. The mirror and the scale no longer haunt you because you are so beautiful. You can face any circumstance with unwavering support because you are so loved. The demons of your past can no longer torment you because you love yourself. All things are possible as long as you believe, because God is on your side. You will achieve all of your goals, not if, but when, because you have no boundaries. You are the champion of your story because you do whatever it takes to win. No one can take what you've done away from you because you are the author and the hero of your story. Arise, champion. The victory is yours. Because you are enough. We are back. Thanks for sticking with me. So we've been talking about the final 3 months of the year here and how we can finish off and handle these holidays stronger than we ever did before. And I gave you the example of how I discovered Fit Points and how through my sheer desire to not mess up what I had done so far, I managed creating a system that I believe can break guilt and shame in anybody's life. And I want to challenge you to test this theory. You could test it for one day. You know, it doesn't even have to be on the holiday. It could be you go do a walk because you decide you're going to have a night out and you're going to go out for dinner on Saturday night. And you can go out for a walk Saturday morning, and you can build up the points necessary to help with the system or help with the food choice for that evening. All you have to do, I mean, you can do it for 1 week. Switch the app to use Fit Points first. And in the settings of the app, you're looking for the setting called food swapping. And in that menu, you will find Fit Points first. Try it out. Try it out for one time. What can go wrong? I mean, you're in this for the long haul anyway. You're in this for the rest of your life. So what can possibly go wrong? Put it this way. How many years have you been handling the holidays the way you handle them every year? And how many years have you ever felt successful on January 2nd? You know what? Last year, Heidi, she felt successful. I believe she dropped 2 pounds over the holiday season. Or 2 pounds over Thanksgiving. I can't remember exactly. We're talking about a year ago. But still, just try it for a weekend. Decide you're going to go out to eat on Saturday night. Go out walking Saturday morning. Switch your app to use Fit Points first. And indulge. Have a good time. And intentionally use the Fit Points. Now, remember what I said here. The creation of those Fit Points is far more accurate with a Fitbit. There's so much you have available to you, and all you have to do is have the guts to take advantage of it. What's one risk? You could take a risk and it could pay off. You can take a risk and it not pay off. Or you can do it your way and end up back at the gym on January 2nd feeling like part of the New Year's resolution crowd. Whichever you choose, it's up to you. Make no mistake. The choice is yours. I've given you the keys to a new way of thinking. If you were the horse, I brought you to drink water, but I can't force you to do it. That's why I say, choose next weekend. Choose whatever. And just try it for one meal. Okay? Now, the holiday meal, because of how indulgent that is, I built the Fit Points up for 4 days. because we're talking about Thursday, right? So I built them up from Sunday because from Saturday because my week starts Saturday. So I built them. I didn't touch a single fit point all the way till Thursday because I knew what kind of food would be on the table. And I tracked everything that went in my mouth. Every single thing I ate, I tracked. And at the end of it all, I didn't even, because, after you use the fit points, it goes into the weeklies. That you're just reversing the order, okay? So I didn't even use all of the fit points I created with what I tracked. Now, the choice is yours. It's the difference between going into the fight with your head held high or going into the fight with the intention of losing. The choice is yours. Make the plan, execute the plan, and win. If you plan to use fit points, go and build the fit points. Then you decide what you're going to eat before it's time to eat. You track what you're going to eat. And then execute. Do what you said you were going to do. No more, no less. If you said you were going to have 1 cup of stuffing for Thanksgiving, 1 cup of stuffing on the plate. Do you understand? Decide ahead of time how much of each thing you are going to eat, and then do it. Do it the way you planned to do it. Do all of these things the way I told you. Win, lose, or draw, when you step on the scale, you will feel like a new person because the mindset will have transformed. And you will see how you handle holidays, how you handle any event in a completely different way. Now, I'm putting the call out. The call to everybody who hears the sound of my voice. How long have you been handling this time of year the exact same way, year after year after year? How many times has it gone the way you planned or the way you hoped? I'm going to guess it's slim. So what are you going to do this time? Are you going to walk into that ring and you're going to dive the first punch you get hit on the face? Are you going to walk into that ring with your head held high, ready for the fight? And you're going to even take some risks. You're going to throw some punches that you never expected to throw because you know what? This time of year, everybody messes up, so you might as well mess up with them. But no, this year is different. This year, you got someone like me in your corner. Someone to tell you like it is and to say there's still a fight to be had here. Whether or not you lose or win, there's still a fight. And this is the kind of fight that might transform you as a fighter, even if you lose. So take the risk. Do something different. Switch that app to use Fit Points. Go out and put in some work on the day of the holiday or whatever day you want to do it. And then use those Fit Points to enjoy whatever moment you'd like to enjoy. And watch how guilt and shame vanish from your life. Vanish, because You worked for that food. You ate that food. You enjoyed that food. And that's all there is to it. And then if you want to go back to the other way when you're done, you go right back to it. And if you want to stay doing it this way, you stay doing it this way. But either way, do something different. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it doesn't, you're here for the rest of your life anyway. So give me a number. How many years is that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? What is one weigh-in gonna do for that? Nothing. The truth is nothing. It does nothing for the broad scheme of things. And if you've gained every other year before this, what does it really matter? Take the shot. Fight that good fight. Do something different you've never done before. And maybe, just maybe, you come out of this the winner. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.